All right, it says we should be live. I'm waiting to confirm that with YouTube here. I'm not seeing anything, so let me check on my phone. If there's anybody hearing this or watching this, we apologize. I'm trying to find the live to make sure that we're not. Oh, okay. All right, I believe. What? All right, it just disappeared. Okay. Nope, I found it. We are actually live, Tony. So, how are you doing today, man?
Good. Spy had a crazy day. Uh,
Yeah, I did.
I know we'll talk about that. But if you look at, I know we'll talk about this in a little bit, but if you look at, you go to the weekly and look where we're rejecting, off that 50-day moving average. I know that's a level that we've been talking about. So, a pretty nasty tweezer on the weekly. It'll be interesting to see where we close this weekly candle. Um, and I have a little pennant forming. Um,
Yeah,
so we'll see, but that's a nasty tweezer on the weekly.
I agree, man. I think also the weekly that reject on that trend line, like that is just not going to be good when it comes to a little bit longer of an outlook on SPY. Like if we're talking weeks out, we definitely do not want to be seeing that weekly reject continue any further. If you're a bull, you want to see this thing bounce this week and take this candle and make it a hammer candle or even just a slightly red candle with a long lower wick. Like we do not want to see this thing stay as big as it is red right now because then we have, like Tony was talking, that tweezer. And then we have a couple other issues going on with just the rejection out of that level, which when that level is fully rejected on, we've seen downside of solid like 5+% on SPY every single time. So we're gonna have to talk about that going forward during this episode. We'll give you guys kind of an insight. We'll pull up the chart and stuff and talk about SPY a little bit. But first, how has your 2023 been, Tony?
Oh, it's been good. It can't be worse than last year, so that's my mindset. That's my mindset for this year. It can't possibly be worse than last year.
Yeah, you had your bottoming and now
So,
you're starting to curl.
yeah, that was the worst year I've ever had for sure. But yeah, I mean, trading's been decent. Life's been all right. What about you? How, anything new um
Yeah,
going on with you?
nothing crazy. I mean, for the most part, it's just been like trading and back in the grind, like just continuing what we were doing. But
Yeah.
um, I've been green every day in January, which has been cool. I hope it comes to an end sometime soon because I hate when it goes over a couple weeks because then I start to feel pressure to stay green.
You think
Um,
about it, yeah.
yeah, I think about it too much. So I'm hoping that it ends with a small red day here coming up within the next week or two, which is it's kind of like what people don't expect to hear. They kind of think, I'm gonna be like, oh, I hope this green day lasts or this green streak lasts for the whole year. No, man, like that would be the most stressful thing I'd ever done in my entire life. Like last year, I think I had like a 40-day green streak was my highest of 2022, and it was genuinely like by day like 20 something of it, I was genuinely like every day was just like playing like super not risky stuff and
Yeah.
doing not what I needed to be doing when it came to trading. Like I was just like running around with the low risk stop losses at -2% and then ending the day like plus 0.3% or something like that. Like it just wasn't what I wanted to be doing. So I'm gonna just stick to the 1% a day, keep going and see how long it goes, and then when it ends, I think I'll be a little relieved.
Yeah, that's how it goes when you get on a streak like that. It's always in the back of your mind, and then it affects your trading and like the trades you take. And like you said, it's almost better if it just comes to an end. You don't even have to think about it.
I agree, man. I agree. Um, so yeah, there's something cool we got going on with the aftermarket, and I told people we'd give them kind of a entry to get into it early. So I think all you guys need to do is make sure that you're following the aftermarket Twitter account, which is at Aftermarket Gang, and then send us a DM saying you want to get in early, and we'll send you guys the Discord link probably a week before the 1st of February so that you guys can have like a one extra week of being in there, checking it out, kind of being our hamsters, helping us out. Plus, you get access to all of the stuff for an extra week because it's going to be free starting February 1st. So that'll be pretty cool. But you guys will also, since you guys are listening to this and being homies with that, you guys can get in early. I know Tony's really excited about it. We've been recording
Yeah.
videos and stuff. I think it's gonna be pretty fucking great, to be honest.
Yeah, it's it's something new. It's you know, we've been a part of Discords for like 4 years now, and um, doing the same thing over and over and over can get, you can start to feel burnout or it could get stale. I know for me personally, I'm that kind of person where like if I do something, for a while I start to get burnout. That's kind of how I was with, I used to do photography full time, was doing that so much that I just kind of started to hate it. I did videography, same thing. Certain things for me, I guess specifically, um, I just kind of start to feel burnt out about it, but I'm really excited to get this going because, it's just everything that I'm passionate about, everything you're passionate about in terms of, just trying to teach people through our experiences trading and trying to, show people what is actually realistic, not all this like fluff that you see on social media, because that's not reality. And we just kind of want to really not dumb it down, but make everything very easy to understand, break things up, um, categorize things the way they need to be. And, um, we've said this a few times, but we're open to, you know, any advice. If, we get people in there and they want something that might not be in there, we'll obviously cater towards what everybody wants. So, I'm just really excited to get that started.
Yeah, we just recorded expectation versus reality videos today, and I forgot how much kind of thought goes into like what new traders or beginners really expect out of scalping, options trading, swing trading, investing. I was just thinking back to when I began and how different my thought process was back then, and it was completely different. I remember back then I was constantly just obsessed with like, all right, I'm gonna like make $1 million in the next year. Like it was just like all of that sort of stuff because I was seeing it all over. And so those videos I think are gonna be super helpful for everyone. And then we're gonna move into like goals and choosing what kind of swing trader, investor, or scalper you want to be because there's like 20 different kinds of each of them.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's going to be super exciting. So obviously, follow the Twitter account, DM the Twitter account if you want early access. We're willing to let anyone in early. If you listen to this, you guys are going to be the only people who get to hear how to get in early. So DM that Twitter account. We'll respond probably a week before February begins with a Discord link, and you guys will get in early. So that'll be pretty cool. But today, Tony, dude, Spy was like on the most, I guess,
Spy was
death
crazy
march,
today. Yeah.
the death march of all time today. Like I don't remember a really profitable
Well,
green setup all day. Let me get
there
my chart
was,
up here.
I know me and Hudak were talking about it, had rejected a dev level around 400, and I was talking about that weekly 50.
Yeah,
I think once that 50 recalculates next week, we're gonna see that it rejected pretty close to that. Um, but it's a hell of a weekly tweezer. Just depending on where we close on Friday. So, um, I know we took the same trade today too.
yeah,
Had
we did.
rejected it had rejected supply early in the morning and then, just kind of fell off the face of the earth.
We took that trade right at the top. I'm about to yank up the 5 minute here so you guys can see. We took this trade. Tony and I were talking actually while we were making these videos. It was from high of day yesterday, I believe, was the zone here. We took a trade in kind of this supply zone here, which ended up being somewhere between this 400 level, which what it was it, which was what it was right around. Geez, that's a hard sentence to say. Um, but it was right around that 400 level, and then you guys can see we saw 400, and then end of day we saw 391. So almost a 9 point move from that 400 level. But I was in short here right at the top on that. Like I think it was like 399.60 ish, 399.70 ish, and I ended up selling like a candle later. But I mean, if we looked into those puts, they'd probably be up by now. They would have probably been
A
up,
lot.
yeah, 500%, something crazy like that, 300 to 500%. But yeah, Tony and I don't really hold for the longest gains of all time. We like to keep that stuff pretty fresh and take the profit quickly. What do you think? Like we're looking at here, if this weekly closes about around where we're at, say like we end up with this 390 to 392 close, kind of similar to where we are. What are you feeling on that?
Um, well, I have that pennant that started from the 15th of August, and kind of formed that upper trend, and then the bottom of that started the week of the 10th of October. Um, so if it breaks down through that, we have the weekly 200s that are sitting at like 365. That would probably be a magnet for the weekly. If we failed the weekly 200s, I think we probably work our way all the way back down towards like 345-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now on the inverse of that, if we for some reason break that 50 and break out of this pennant, I think we may be, you know, reversing out of this bear market. I would definitely pay attention to where the weekly closes, and I would definitely pay attention to that weekly 50 and those weekly 200s. That's just kind of what I'm seeing at the moment.
Yeah, I was looking at this downtrend quite a bit before the week. I liked this higher low that we made, which is kind of the source of the pennant. We had this bottom, like you were talking in October, and then we had this bottom again, which was December, mid December to early January.
Hmm.
And so I was liking it based on that, just kind of thinking early of the part of the week might be a long time. And then, we had that nice decent day yesterday, but then today it's like now we're fully out of that rejection zone because I like to draw this zone here since there's wicks and candle bodies. It makes sense for
Yeah.
me to have like a little bit of a downtrend zone, and then we're completely out of it now, and we might be heading towards the bottom side here. Um, I do think, with that said, I do think the best side to be right now is short, just considering we're in a bear market and you always want to follow a trend. I made a video about trends, and you always kind of want to follow them until they break, which right now the trend is lower highs and then lows are made. So I think we could be seeing a possible big rejection into new lows. Um, but we're going to need to see a lot of the economic data coming out. Right now, we haven't seen many moves based on the economic data. We've seen like CPI came out and stuff in it, and it seemed like it was going to have a huge move in the market, but yeah, really didn't. And so what I'm thinking is this earnings season is going to be pretty big. We have Netflix tomorrow after hours. And that'll kind of set the premise for tech in the earnings season, and then we have Microsoft, Tesla the next week, and so I think that's going to kick off what the market's going to do because those are big names that are probably going to pull the market one way or the other, and I'm going to probably be willing to ride the sentiment of whatever happens on those earnings reports. I'll be looking for lottos throughout them, and I think that's going to lead us into Tony and I's two kind of watches that we post or talk about on the podcast. And the first one for me is going to be Netflix. And I'm not recommending, I was talking about this with my Discord, I'm not recommending their options because it's been juiced all the way up to about 160, 170 IV at some points, 120 at the bottom side. So don't be paying those premiums. But I do think Netflix has quite a bit of upside if you look at what they've been putting out and at the changes they've made based on their earnings report. And you can kind of see. Let's go to the daily just so I can show you when their earnings reports were. So they had an earnings report in when is that, October? They had one in July, and they had one in April, I believe. The April one caused a drop from 340 all the way to 227, and then there wasn't a huge reaction in July, and there was a slight gap up in October. But I think this one is a good one to be long on. Pretty much for a couple of reasons. Number one being when they had these bad earnings reports, they had two of them in a row where they dropped from, what is that? Sorry, I had the pictures in the way. 500 all the way to 400, and then that 330 to 220. I think they've made a lot of changes. They've made, they've had ads. They've added a few new shows that people were calling for. They've put out new stuff. They've put out new movies. They've created Netflix originals that people were wanting. They've changed their subscription plans. I think they're doing the things they need to do to make their earnings reports, not bridge the gap. I don't want to say that because they missed really bad when they missed. So, and it was subscriber count that they missed on. So it was really just more the business rather than the numbers. So they missed really bad on those subscriber counts. But I think they're doing what they need to do to get people back. And the biggest thing that I'm going to be watching for is the movement tomorrow. If they have a big red day tomorrow, because if SPY continues this downward side that we saw today, if there's a red day tomorrow, I'm just gonna buy commons of Netflix. I don't feel like playing the options, so I'm gonna buy commons on that. If I could get it around somewhere around 320, I think I'd be pretty comfortable having an average around 320. But the biggest thing that I wanted to bring up about Netflix before I let Tony do a little bit of talking is their quarter fours have historically been lower than normal. But this time around, they're expecting only 53 cents of earnings per share when this entire year they've been in the $2 to $3 per share on their EPS. And in the past, when they've had a $2 to $3 EPS for the entire first, second, and third quarter, their fourth quarter EPS was over $1. So if they beat that well, if they beat this 53-cent EPS and they beat it by they make $1, they make $1.20, I'd expect this thing to go pretty ballistic and start to fill these areas that we've seen gap down from the earnings. We have one all the way up to 500 if this thing wants it, but I don't think it'll do that tomorrow. So don't get this, Teddy said $500 PT, that sort of thing. But that's my first one. I think it's a pretty solid long on the earnings report. You have a pretty decent chance of getting some upward momentum. I'm doing commons. I don't recommend the calls or the puts because of the IV, like I said, but that's my first one. Tony, what do you got on your radar?
I really like American Airlines for a short. If you look at the weekly, the last time we had this aggressive of a move was like the 18th of April, and it got absolutely smoked. We had another one first in November, and it got, again, got destroyed the following week. So I like that into the rest of this week. If we look from, the 2 weeks prior, it had an extremely explosive move. And then there, I'm seeing room down to like 14 on the chart I'm looking at. So yeah, that's not something I normally trade, but I really do like that setup for a short. And that's just strictly technicals.
Yeah, this thing looks like it's pretty overextended, as in we saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 green candles in a row, and then there was a massive gap up today, actually. So that was today. This thing has a gap also between that 16 level all the way down to 1537.
Mm-hmm.
That looks pretty good. Before I give you guys my second one, I want to say thank you guys for tuning in. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. We appreciate you guys tuning in. That's why we gave you the early access to the aftermarket, because it means a lot that you guys listen to these. If you're on Spotify or Apple Music, it means a lot to us. So thank you guys. Okay. My second one is XP. And this is actually a chart that I've been trading, as in I have a swing trade on it right now. But I really like this double bottom that we saw on when was that first one? The first one was Monday, December 19th, and the second one was Thursday, January 23rd. So I'm going to draw a line in on that double bottom area, and then you guys can see the move that we've already seen off of that double bottom. But the reason I liked it even more was because we had this resistance here in this area, about 1550 all the way to something around 16. But I'm gonna put a zone right there. So it was this zone. This was the top of it was 16. The bottom of it was that 1550 level. And you can see the action that we saw when it touched that zone. It touched that zone on Tuesday, actually, which was yesterday. And we saw it just completely shoot all the way back up to 1630 when it opened at 1575. And I actually took it above 16 for a swing trade. And I'm still holding most of it. I sold a little bit today when it was testing that 17 area. But I think this thing looks really good based on the fact that it had this support level here, resistance level here, creating a little bit of a zone, and the reaction to it was just an absolute nice green candle out of that zone, showing that it's support now. And so I'm feeling long on this. I'm feeling like as long as we're above this 16 level, this thing is a pretty easy long, and I'm going to be in it until we see above 17, most likely. All right,
I
tell me
like that.
what's your second one?
I like that a lot. Well, my second one was going to be plug. But after the day it had today and the week it's had so far, it does not look so hot. But if we were looking on the weekly from the 3rd to the 9th, that curl it had on the weekly, it looked really good. So I'm gonna roll with Spy.
All
I
right.
know that's pretty generic, but if, like we were just talking about, if we do close this week out with a tweezer on the weekly, to me, that's a pretty big warning sign that we're most likely going to break through this pennant and potentially push down to those weekly 200s. Those 200s tend to act like a magnet for, on multiple time frames. Um, I know it's generic, like I said, but I know we've been talking about this weekly 50 level that we currently have rejected. So if we do close the week, around where we're currently at, and we do close this tweezer, I do really like this short into next week.
I agree. I think that's probably maybe even the best setup on the on the watch list. Like if this thing rejects that level again, I don't see how you can't feel good being short on that trend line where it's rejected. What is this going to be? The fifth time if it rejects again? Like at
Yeah.
that point, it feels like it's taking money or candy from a baby.
We also, just something quick to pay attention to is we also failed to close above the daily 200s, and that's kind of where we're rejecting at the moment. We also have a potential daily triple cross, and a potential cross from the daily 9 through the daily 50. So not only does the weekly not look great, the daily looks maybe even worse. So
Yeah, yeah. I had a question for you when it just came to technicals and stuff. How do you interpret like the wicks on this SPY weekly? Like we have like a lot of bottom side wicks here. We have a few top side wicks on this downtrend. Like how do you kind of think of them on the weekly there? Because I know that you do a lot of work when it comes to technicals and candle charts and stuff.
S- So with those wicks, those are essentially, you know, those are almost all of them off pretty key levels. Um, that one from the 15th of August was right off the 50. There's one even further back, the 18th of April, that was right off the 50. We had one from the 28th and then the 12th of December. Those were right off the 50. If we look at the bottom wicks, that one from the 10th of October, we work our way all the way down through the weekly 200s there, but then the 17th of October, that was off the weekly 200s. 31st of October, the weekly 200s, and then essentially the ones from the 19th of December, the 27th, and the 3rd were just confirming that pennant. So Wix will tell you a lot, and especially if they're off key areas or moving averages like these ones, most of these are. But that's why we've kind of been preaching about that weekly 50 because Like I said, I think once that weekly 50 recalculates, we'll see that that rejected pretty close to that. So that's why these higher time frames are so important. You want to pay attention. If something's getting like approaching something like the weekly 50, it doesn't have to be exact, but more often than not, you're going to see a reaction in either direction um, on something, such like a higher time frame, like the daily or the weekly. And there's a bunch of examples of that here. So that's kind of just what or how I interpret that.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. I think this weekly 50 is kind of been underrated in this bear market. We've seen it get rejected on that 18th of April on that Monday, and then again on the August 15th, and then again on December 12th. And yeah, like you said, if this thing calculates down a little bit more within this week, so if we have a red week this week, we're probably going to see it, come down and test this 400 level. That is the 50, and then that would line up exactly like Tony said with the candle this week. But I think for the most part, man, like these wicks are just kind of showing us how like indecisive the market is right now. Like we saw these bottom side wicks from Monday, Tuesday, or not Monday, Tuesday. Those 3 weeks back in end of December and early January. But then we saw that massive red wick the week before. Like it just feels like right now the market needs that decision, and I think it's that pennant that we've been talking about. That pennant, it's kind of just showing indecision, and then once that breaks, we'll probably get much more of a solid move and see something like these candles here, where we had from Monday, October or April 4th, all the way to April 25th. Those weekly candles were pretty solid, and then again from July 22nd all the way to August 22nd or August 8th. Those candles were pretty big, and I feel like we're going to get a little bit more of that when this pennant breaks. But this pennant right now, man, it's like it's causing us quite a bit of consolidation, and today was pretty slow, honestly. Like we were down like, immediately that couple percent, and then after that it just kind of chopped around and then went a little lower, but there weren't a ton of opportunities for solid moves unless you hit that big move. Like if we go to the 5 minute here, I know we both trade like 5-10 minute stuff. You can see like if you don't hit, there's probably like 3 opportunities to be short. One of them was right at the beginning of the day. The second one was maybe this little bear flag here, and the third one was this double top that we saw. If you don't hit any of those, there's not much opportunity in this day, which is kind of, a lot of people don't see it like that. A lot of people think if a trend day is like this, we can basically like trade it, consistently, just keep shorting it. It's hard to tell when things are going to bounce, but I think 3 good opportunities, and if you didn't hit at least one of them, then it was a little bit of a tough day, considering you don't want to buy red candles short. That's one of my rules: is don't go short on a red candle. Wait for a green candle to go short, that sort of thing. But yeah, that's just kind of my opinion on that 5 minute there.
The best thing you can do with something like the 5 minute and a trend day, and something I will do, is just play around like the 9 EMA. So if I like miss an initial entry, maybe I look for like a rejection off the 9 or a rejection off the 20 or something like that.
Yeah, I agree. Let me look at this. Let me pull up the actual 9 EMA so we can check it out. Yeah, here's today. I actually traded a second trade today. Tony and I were actually playing League while I was trading. I don't recommend that, especially if you're Karthus bot lane and you got to kill all those minions with the last little hit. They're not minions, are they? Are they
Yeah.
minions? Okay, well, whatever. I was short on this 9 EMA tap right here. It says 1320 on my chart. I was short there, and then I ended up averaging down until it hit the 30, and then this nice red candle happened right afterwards, and I ended up being able to get out with decent profit. But yeah, it was kind of a tough spot because as soon as it broke that 9 again, I was feeling a little bit uncomfortable. I thought it was since it broke down pretty heavy with decent volume, I was gonna take the retest of it. Broke through, and then the 30 ended up being the rejection area. But it looks like the 9 was pretty solid if you would have caught it on this. That's right around 11:10, which is Central Time, so that'd probably be 12:10 Eastern Time. The 9 would have been a great entry here. You guys could have gotten a really nice entry if you would have taken it at 11. There was a nice red candle, and then again at 11:15, and then again here at 11:50, and then again here at noon exactly. So the 9 EMA is one that Tony and we've talked about forever, and then it comes back into play here That's right about 2:15, so 3:15 Eastern time. That would have been a great play to end the day. So keep an eye on the nine. Like the nine, it feels like is working today, a lot better than what I previously thought until I just looked at the chart right now.
Yeah, the nine will like guide you for trend days like this. It's really tough when, like you said, if you missed like that supply rejection or you missed a break of the 200s or there was a triple cross in there or whatever the case may be. Um, it's tough because you don't want to chase something that's overextended, but the nine will help you with scalping specifically.
Yeah. The other thing I want to highlight about this 5 minute chart too is check out the Bollinger Bands on here. You can see the Bollinger Bands got really tight at about 9:15 here. They started to curve in, and right after they curved in, about 10 minutes after they started to come in really, really tight, we got that massive move. And then they stayed wide, they stayed wide, they stayed wide, and then they bottlenecked again at 2:15. And then what did we see after 2:15? A massive move to end the day. So that's one of my top indicators that I think people overlook. Sorry, I'm putting my wine back in there. Um, but I think Bollinger Band's probably one of the best indicators, as in when they tighten up, you can expect a large move. Because people always ask me, I get a lot of messages on Twitter because I'll tweet out like charts and say like I think there's a big move coming, and people will say, how do you know there's a big move coming? Why do you think there's a big move coming? And Bollinger Bands are one of the biggest reasons. As soon as they start to tighten like that, I can expect to move either way, and then it's my job to determine, which way it's going to be. And right here, in my Discord, I was talking about how it was a good short opportunity because whenever you see, green volume decreasing on the volume bars while it's increasing in price, I usually don't trust that. And as it was headed up to the nine, I was thinking, decreasing volume, heading up to the nine, we're in kind of a consolidation zone. This is sort of an area I would feel comfortable thinking this is short. Decreasing volume usually leads to, sellers stepping in. And then that's exactly what happened. But it's not always going to be that cut and dry. But when Bollinger Bands tighten like that, guys, that's one of the best indicators on my chart for determining when a move is going to happen, and a big move, usually.
Did I show you my mug?
Oh, shit. Oh, is that
You put,
handmade, bro? Let me stop sharing so we can see a big screen. Put it back up
can you
there.
see it?
Oh my god, bro. That looks like a piece of
It's
art. Like you stole that from the Louvre.
there's this program that like they special needs kids can do where they make like this like a mug or a glass or something, and then they can sell their stuff to like make money.
That's
So that's
sick.
where I got it from, and like they put every kid that makes stuff puts their name on the bottom, so it's just like a way for them to make money, which is I thought was pretty cool.
That's super cool. I just got this generic glass. What do you got in your mug?
I had some wine in it, but it's gone.
I'm drinking some white wine right now. I went and bought
That's what I had.
like an $8 bottle. It was like the cheapest thing I could find.
Yeah, the one I had was mango.
Oh, dude, I still don't
Oh,
have
it
that
was
near
so
me.
good.
I was gonna get some sangria today. I've been kind of on a
That sounds
sangria
good.
kick.
That sounds really good.
I need to learn how to make it. I
Oh,
really
it's
don't
not
know.
hard.
They say you just add a whole bunch of fruits to like a red wine or something.
Yeah.
I was also, oh bro, I was telling you about White Lotus, right? The show.
Yeah, I wanna check it out.
Yeah, you got to check it out. But they have a whole bunch of in the show in the second season. They drink like the entire time they're drinking these Aperol spritzes. Have you ever had one of those?
Mm-mm.
It's like apparently like an Italian drink with like Aperol and then like sparkling wine. And they look so fucking good in the show. Like they're like bright orange, but it looks
Mm-hmm.
like the sweetest orange juice you'd ever drink in your entire life. I made one for dinner and I think I fucked it up pretty bad, so I'm gonna have to go
Really?
for it again because it just wasn't it. It just wasn't it,
Yeah.
and I think I messed up the proportions, but I'm gonna try it again.
There's this stand at the fair by me that does like fresh squeezed oranges. They call it like orangeade. It's so good.
I love
It
the.
doesn't taste like orange juice. I don't know how to describe it.
Is it like lemonade but oranges?
Kind of.
We've got a bunch of fairs. Iowa State Fair. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of that, but they go like balls deep on fair stuff. And so there's like people who will like practice their lemonade year round in Iowa, like fair lemonade. And they gave me the recipe and stuff. There's like a cup of sugar in like
Oh,
lemonade when you
dude,
make it, bro. It's so good. Like I love it, but it's just like a cup of
so
sugar.
bad
I
for
can't
you.
put it in my cup and not feel terrible about myself.
Yeah, it's awful.
Absolutely terrible. We were gonna talk cuisine. I feel like we need to talk a little
Ooh,
cuisine before we do the tier chart. Um, just to kind of get some
cuisine.
premises up. Cuisine, like when I think of cuisine, I think of like Indian food versus Mexican food versus like all that sorts of stuff. That's kind of what I think of, like,
Yeah,
Italian.
just like food from different cultures.
Dude, I'm fucking. I had the best food of my life probably like 3 days ago, and it was a cuisine, and I told you about it in Discord. We're gonna keep the story for when we do the tier chart, but I already know what's gonna be my top tier. I already know. Let's just get it. Let's just get to it. Let's just hop on it.
I know what my favorite is, but
I know what yours is too, I think.
sounds like Michael Vick's dogfighting ring behind me. The dogs are just
Dude, I can't even hear it. That's what you were saying when we recorded those videos earlier. You were talking like, "Oh, they're barking and stuff," and I can't even hear it.
they're just going at it so bad.
Marco's like a little
He's
missile.
a missile. Yep. All
World cuisine. Let's see what we got here.
right, let's see this.
Oh, it's
Oh
just
boy.
I don't want flags.
I was gonna say I don't even know half of those.
Yeah, this looks like a. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Okay, I don't know any of these though. Do you?
If there's not names on them, no.
Bro, what? Global cuisine. Oh my goodness. This might not be our category, dude. I don't even know any of these. Maybe I'm not as cultured as I thought. I wish we could do our own. World cuisine, countries cuisine. Oh, this is exactly what we need. This is what we need right here.
Oh, there we go.
All right. A B C D. We got all these names. American food is first, Tony. Where do you want to put American food?
So when we think of American food, what are we talking? Like cheeseburgers, chicken fingers,
Yeah, I'd say like fried chicken, cheeseburgers.
mac and cheese.
Yeah, yeah, mac and
I mean,
cheese.
all that stuff's so good, but it's like comparatively speaking to like homemade, like I don't know. I say we would have to keep it in like B or A for now.
I say we throw it in B and then we reevaluate at the end because I really like that stuff, but I feel like there's just some better stuff
Yeah.
for S and A.
hmm
All right, Chinese food.
I'm just I just don't know if I've never had really good Chinese food or what, but I'm just not the biggest fan. But
I think it
what do
just
you think?
belongs by American food. I think it's just in B. Like
Yeah,
it's
it's
not
just
great.
to me, it's just, like some people are obsessed with it. Like McCabe, he would eat Chinese 7 days a week.
He'd also eat Subway with a mayo
Mayo and tuna,
tuna
yeah,
hoagie 7 days a week. All right, Italian food, bro. I think that's S.
it has to be.
Like everything we
Like
eat
authentic
here.
Italian, it has to
Yeah,
be.
bro. And also like America just tried to copy like everything Italian, like literally pizza, pasta, like everything
Just
that
like
people eat.
Americanized everything, yeah.
Yeah, for real. Like Italian is just so good. Japanese,
So that's like sushi and
yeah.
I love sushi.
I think sushi might be A, bro.
So
I
I
think it
would
might be
think
A.
A, yeah.
Mexican food.
Oh, it's got to be S, right?
I think it's gotta be S, dude. I'm a big sucker for Mexican food. German and Dutch.
Like bratwurst
I
and
don't like German food. Wait, no, this isn't German food. This is Belgian because we have German food over here. This is Belgium.
Belgian and Dutch. What's
I don't know if I've had that before.
is sauerkraut?
That's German,
Is it?
I think. I don't know if I've had Belgian. Wait, no, this isn't
We
Belgian.
prob
I don't know what this is, bro. This looks like Belgian. That
Google
flag.
Dutch food quick.
All right, let's Google.
What's Dutch food? Because it's gonna be something we've heard of.
Dutch food. Famous Dutch dishes.
Does that say French fries?
Stroopwafel.
Stroopwafel.
I've, I mean, I've heard of that. I've never had it. Crockett. I've had that before, I
Okay,
think.
I've never heard of that.
Pata. Pate.
Yeah, all right, I think we've seen enough. I think that's just
Just gets D because we.
hmm
I mean, if you've got stroopwafel in your country's top
Yeah.
15, like I question you. French food. I'm not gonna lie, man. I kind of think French food is super overrated.
Really?
Let's look up their French food because I need to make sure I'm thinking of this right thing.
What are you thinking? If you're thinking of like French toast.
No, bro, put me a little higher up than that. Okay, I was thinking like quiche like this sort of a quiche. I wasn't thinking sandwiches like this though.
Yeah, like baguettes and croissants and
Okay, then I like baguettes and croissants and stuff. I was
yeah, it's
thinking more
got I think
so. Where are you
like
thinking?
A. I think it's got to be like A.
I think I agree. German food though, gross. I'll be honest. German food not very good. Brats, like I
I
can have a brat once
yeah, I think
a.
that's C or D.
I think C it might be better than the stroopwafel.
Greek food is fire.
I'm really big fan of fucking like gyros and like
Yes.
tzatziki sauce and
Yup.
Mediterranean food in general is really good.
I think that's got to be like A or S.
Is it as good as Italian and Mexican?
No,
I don't think so. It's with the Japanese and French. Indian food, bro, dude, it's just
that's S.
non-negotiable for me. Like that's what I had a few days ago, and I was just reminded of how flavorless American food is sometimes.
Do you have butter chicken?
Yeah, I had butter chicken, tikka masala, and then I had their spiciest dish. I don't remember what it was called, chicken something with an M. And then I had like a boatload of naan, and I just chowed down.
Marco,
Oh,
why
it
do
was
you
so good.
oh, just gotta be right in my face.
All right, Indonesian food. Do you have any idea what that is?
No,
All
to be
right,
honest.
we'll do the old Google. Indonesian food. What is the most famous food?
Oh, it's gonna
Nasi
be like
goreng.
kebab. It's gonna be like skewers and shit.
Rice is fucking rice. It says that it's similar to Thai food, I guess. I've never had Indonesian food. I don't know where
Neither
to
have
put it.
I don't think.
It'll be D, but if you're watching this, it's only in D because we've never had it. Korean food. I'm gonna have to Google that one too because I have trouble differentiating like the different types of cuisine from Asia because
Koreans like Korean barbecue and
Korean barbecue
um
is great.
a bunch of different like soups and
Yeah, I see a lot of
like
stews
hot
on here.
pots and stuff like that.
Okay, I kind of like Korean chicken and also Korean
Oh, I love
fusion.
kimchi.
Kimchi, bro. I love kimchi. I'm a big kimchi fan. I'm also a fan of these things. They
Have you ever
always
had
call
rice
them this.
cakes?
Yeah, bro. They always call them this at the restaurant though. Tia taboki. And I only learned because I asked the waitress what I should get, and she told me that, and I had them, and they're amazing.
Yeah.
They're like all their soups are pretty banging too. Ooh, that looks kind of tasty. Look at this, jajangmyeon, jajangmyeon. Korean
Oh,
chicken
Korean fried
is
chicken.
amazing. I
Yeah.
think this might have to be somewhere up here. Where do you think?
Probably A.
I think A as well. Feeling pretty good about that. Filipino food.
Never had it.
I think it's a C. I've had it like once or twice, and like it was okay, but I just wouldn't have chosen it over a whole bunch of stuff. Spanish food. Isn't
Um,
Spanish food like more seafood?
yeah, a
Let's
lot of
see.
seafood, but I think it depends on what part of
Yeah,
Spain.
it's like Italy, I think.
Um,
Churros. 10 foods to try in Spain.
they do a lot of like cured meats and
Oh, paella, bro. That's super good. Have you ever had that?
mm,
That's really good. Tortilla. Yeah, it is seafood. There's a whole
tortilla.
bunch of shrimp and stuff. Tortilla.
Tortilla.
I think it could be a B tier. I think that's fine.
Mm,
All right, Vietnamese food.
never had it.
I've never had it as well. If you're Vietnamese, like we just have never had it. Thai food though, I
Fire.
think that might be up in one of these top ones.
Um,
It might not be as good as Indian, Mexican, and Italian
It's
though.
probably A,
Yeah,
but it's very good.
I think A is pretty solid. We're gonna have to do we're gonna have to do another food tier on this episode where it's gonna be like American regions, like where we talk about like the food from every region because I've been around America and I have some strong opinions. Let me. Oh shit. Oh, I'm trying to get this. Oh, here we go. All right. This is. I'm gonna screenshot this, and then let's go find American food. American food by region. I don't know if that's a thing. This doesn't. I don't know if we're gonna find this.
Hmm.
What would be a better thing to search?
Um. American food by region.
American food.
I don't know, unless it's like we
Ah,
already
dude, we
we
might
already
not.
did fast food, you know?
American food tier list. Oh,
Yeah.
that's not what we want. Hmm.
I don't know if you'll find that.
I don't know if I'll find this, but I guess I'll just say my opinion then. I think, bro, like southern, um, like Mexican food is the best food that we have in America. That's my strongest opinion.
Wait. Are you talking like what states?
Like I'm talking anything south of Missouri. You get down by like the border and you eat Mexican food, like Southern California Mexican food, Texas Tex-Mex, absolutely banging. Like all that stuff is just my favorite food in America. That's
What
my
would
opinion.
my
I want to.
what would
What's
my
yours, Tony? What do you think is the best
what
food
would
in
my
America?
favorite? I don't know because like I love like homemade Italian stuff, but to get that kind of stuff like around me, I have to make it myself.
Yeah.
Um, but dude, if you go to like a deli, like a really good deli and get like a sub on homemade bread and with like really good meats and stuff, I mean that for me like that's the kind of stuff I really like.
Yeah, I think like deli food in general is just overrated. Not overrated, underrated. Sorry, like super
Underrated.
underrated. Like
You
you
get
go
it,
to
yeah, at a good spot.
yeah, bro. You go and you just like get a loaf of bread or something, and then you just get some of their meat and you throw that shit together. Like
You get like a chicken cutlet sub.
you're
Oh my God.
set. You're absolutely set.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I like.
Okay, there was one last stock thing I wanted to talk about before we hopped off here, and that was navigating a reversal market. I think it's an interesting topic to talk about because I've gotten a few DMs because I posted a couple tweets that were like, I think SPY might be reversing soon. I think SPY, this higher low is possibly bullish. And so I personally just wanted to talk a little bit about, what that means for me, my investments, and just my daily trading. And one of the biggest things that's going to change when we get into a bullish market if we get into it within a couple months or if we get into it next year. One of the biggest thing that's gonna change for me is my attention to scalps versus swings. I'm gonna be looking to swing things a lot more than I'm gonna be looking to scalp things because that's where I started and that's kind of the adjustment that I like to make when it's bear versus bull market. Bear market, it's easier to scalp things because I'm in and out. I don't have to hold things overnight. Swing market, it's a little bit more, I guess, stress free to swing things because the overall trend is upwards. But Tony, I wanted to get your opinion too about what you think will happen, like for your own trading, when it comes to if we possibly reverse to a bullish market.
Um, for me personally, it'd be a lot more, um, you know, swing oriented stuff, a lot of stuff that's bottomed out, a lot of stuff that's, you know, maybe on the cheaper side, but still like something like a Ford, something that, these established companies, I'm not talking like playing pennies,
Yeah.
and probably swinging more options. I rarely do that. Sometimes I'll hold stuff overnight, but I'm talking like maybe taking stuff a month, 2 months out. That would be the kind of stuff that I'm looking at, as well as, adding more long-term stuff. I added some Amazon, like I've mentioned a few times, but you know, that's kind of what my approach would be towards that. And it's going to be tough because, by the time everyone realizes we're actually out of the bear market, it'll probably be a while, meaning we'll look back and be like, oh, yeah, that's when we were reversing and it was like a month ago.
Yeah.
So it's going to be tough, but that's just probably how my approach will be.
I'm watching this weekly candle really close because I want to kind of, be cognizant of that exact point you just made of it's going to be a lot of hindsight of, oh, we're reversing. But, if we can have a chance to just kind of capture it a bit early, like the wicks we saw on the weekly and stuff, I'm going to be watching that pretty close just to determine, if we end up wicking up again on this candle here on this weekly, then I'm going to be really, really thinking possible reversal. Um, but yeah, I think I agree with everything you said, and I think it's going to be tough, in the moment to be like, oh, we're reversing. Like a lot of people like to call the bottom of the market, which there is someone on Twitter right now that has actually called the bottom of the market right now, which is pretty crazy. I don't know if you know Tim O'Connell on Twitter, Tony.
Yeah.
He fucking timed the day of the bottom. That's just nuts to me. He bought like a 3x, like I don't remember what he did. He longed something, and he said, "I think today's the bottom on Spy," and it was the actual day that Spy bottomed. Like right now, he has the actual bottom, and so if it actually reverses from here, like I'm gonna be blown
He's gonna
away.
look like a genius.
I know, dude, it's gonna be nuts, but yeah,
Well, good for him though. I mean,
right, bro. That's pretty
there
crazy.
had to be some thought process behind it.
Yeah, he had to have had some indicator that he's seen because he's been trading for like 25 years now, something crazy like that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Is there anything else you want to talk about on this episode?
No, I'm just really excited to get, the project we've been working on rolling.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree, man. I'm
it's
super pumped.
it's something new for me. It's completely education stuff, me and you were talking the other day. Sometimes it's hard doing, the live trading, because nobody trades the same. Some people are trying to trade at work and off their phone and this, that, and the other. I'm really, excited to just, do the education stuff, and try to get as many people rolling as possible. So
Yeah, I'm excited to get people basically on the right path because I think there's a lot of paths out there that are shilled. There's a lot of we're seeing right now the repercussions of stuff that people aren't being truthful, people aren't being fully transparent with their trading ways and stuff. So I'm excited to get people educated enough to where they can trade themselves personally and they don't need to rely on anyone else who, even if these people look like the best people or if they look like the most reliable people, maybe they might not be. Maybe they might be shilling something to you. But yeah, I'm excited to get people to where they can do it themselves and then they can have the skills to, if they blow up their account, fall back on, or if something bad happens in their life, they can fall back on trading and they can feel comfortable with their skill set and just know that they have enough knowledge accumulated over time to use that to make money in a long term setting in a consistent setting. So I'm super pumped for that. I think it's going to be really exciting. There's going to be a lot of aspects of it that you guys are going to kind of be surprised by that we haven't talked a whole lot about, like the book study we're going to be doing, all of the education dump that we're going to be doing, live classes every week. We've never really talked about how often those are going to be, how long they're going to be, what the topics are going to be. So there's going to be a lot of room for you guys to get stuff that you didn't really expect and just kind of be hopefully happy surprised when you get in there and see how organized it is. A dictionary of language that's used, all that sort of stuff. So I'm just
yeah,
really excited. I think it's going to be super fun.
yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, so thank you guys for tuning in. We'll catch you next week.